While we had a break, we had the opportunity to be joined by a human rights activist, a civil society activist, and he is Solomon Idiogbe. Thanks for joining us, Solomon.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Viewers at home, very good morning this morning.
All right. Now, quickly, let's look at this whole issue concerning the voter register. Although 24 Nigerians, filed a lawsuit against INEC on not giving them the opportunity to finish their registration. And the reports have it that about 10.4 million, about 10.4 of that percentage, went for registration online, but about 3.4 finally succeeded in voting, which means a huge chunk of about 32.8% only voted. So a little percentage, we call that, of 32.8% only finished their registration, while leaving a huge chunk of over 70% or over 60%, thereabout, not being able to finish strong on that. And looking at this, INEC came up with this statement saying that the Independent National Electoral Commission has described as misleading the claim that it denied over 7 million Nigerians the opportunity to complete their online pre-registration during the continuous voter registration exercise. The electoral umpire noted that most of the affected citizens failed to either complete the online enrollment or appear physically at the designated centers to complete the process. Exactly what I also told you, Bishop Austin Igbasan, that it could be for this basic reason that a lot of persons that started the online registration didn't didn't make themselves available, to finish the physical registration. What do you make of that, Solomon Idiogbe?
Is it their fault that Philip Omogupon went to registration center after doing online for physical affairs? Well, saw how rowdy their various centers were during the elections. INEC is liable and is liable.
For prospective registrants, yes, that didn't make themselves available?
Not didn't make themselves. Philip, very unfortunately, it is not Don General that was asking this question, because I have asked him to go to his archive and produce those videos where he had to go to centers where he saw how crowds. At a point, you have 300 people to attend to today, and it's your duty. INEC will only send one beavers machine to go and check on registrants. So what are you talking about? And then when you get there, they will not also come until about 10 in the morning, and by 3 o'clock they are closed. Until about a few weeks after Serap took them to court, and I said, okay, they'll be opening by 8 and closing by 6. The opening by 8, you also get there. You will meet crowds of about 300 persons. INEC officials machine will come in, they have battery issue, they have technical issue. At the end of the day, they are not able to register 20. Is it the one that has done registration online that they will not capture? When they have not captured those who already are filed up on the physical, there wasn't a center designated as such that when you are done, take your printed sheet and go to our INEC. Look, and by the way, what did INEC call their registration? They call it continuous voters, continuous. Continuous means there was no stop.
No ending.
At what time did they actually start this re-registration that they started? See, INEC should stop those stories of, look, just because we are in Nigeria, and monkey can carry money, rats can chase away leaders from their offices, and the snake can swallow huge chunks of money and then disappear, with the African black magic. So I'm sure that is what INEC want to replicate, the African black magic. It doesn't work that way. It is, when it comes to voting, of funds, a huge chunk of money is voted for INEC. To do what? Enrollment, if you like, registration of intending voters, clean up the register, produce voters card, ensure that the voters card is given to the people, monitor election processes, which include primaries of political parties, election of political parties, and then the conduct of election and announcement of results. What concerns INEC is the conduct of election announcement of results. Look at the problems in the various political parties as a result of INEC attended this political party primaries. He didn't attend this. He attended this, attended this, and he doesn't know which one.
Bringing disparities.
You know. So if it is the duty of Philip Omo to coordinate an affair in the morning, TMI, it is his duty. He knows what to do. So if I now become the moderator of this program, it is a failure on the part of Philip, not Solomon. So what we are saying here is that INEC, look at it. Look at it too. The 24 persons who came on behalf of the 7 million Nigerians are saying that they started their process and they closed the portal against them. Was it they that closed the portal? Is it not INEC?
Okay, are you considering the possibility or impossibility, you know, of INEC opening it or allowing them to go on this physical registration, and with the challenge of INEC having not having enough time to collate this data before election? Are you considering that?
Who created the not enough time? If Sarah did not take them to court, would they have extended the extra time that they extended? Did they not say it was more than half time? Now, when you talk about considerations, INEC in itself should first be considering the Nigerian people. People came out en masse. For the first time, we are seeing people coming out to say, we want to register. It became a problem for the electoral board, the umpire, to come out and do the needful. They were sluggish. They were not dutiful in their duties. And then you are coming to blame the people that because they did not complete, either they did not they started. Now, look at it now. It's time for them to also start cleaning up. When they clean up, they are supposed to give voters cards to those who are successfully registered. But what does INEC do? INEC is waiting for you to come and collect your voters card in their office that they do not open. Whereas some would have been expecting now is distribution of electoral card that you refer to as voters card. There's a difference between distribution and collection. If it's distribution, INEC could be the one calling Philip Omo, Solomon Idogbe, your card is ready, send you text message, because they collected your bio data. They have your address, they have your phone number, they have your next of kin, for instance. And now when they say multiple registration, who created the issue of multiple registration? We saw how voters cards were found in gutter in Southeast. And when those people could not find their voters card, having gone there severally, they decide to go re-register. You now cancel it and say it's multiple registration.
Okay, but don't you think you'll be wrong to say that they were sluggish? I allowed you to finish so that it doesn't seem as if I'm cutting in. But don't you think it will be wrong of you to say that they were sluggish? I think the same way we expect that political party candidates do not denigrate their opponents is the same way we expect that you also don't denigrate the electoral umpire, because you can make your objective statements without necessarily using some denigrating statements.
What's denigrating about being sluggish? Which means they are not moving in the pace that they are supposed to move. They are not moving at the rate they are expected to move. Are you not
sure they witness some setbacks which is really humanly possible? That you can excuse the umpire of.
Excusable, my brother. When you move progressively, retrogressively, whose fault? Yes, progressively, retrogressively.
Save me from this.
Whose fault? My fault? It is your duty to produce card, not mine.
Okay.
You produce it, you kept it in the office. See, I did my national identity card several years ago. Several years ago. I'm not talking about 4 years, 3 years back. Several years ago.
All right, so
I have visited National Identity Card Center severally. Bishop, my card is not ready. But President Muhammadu Buhari went to do his card. He got it the same minute. Are we not the same Nigerians?
That's because it's the commander in chief.
First amongst equals. Now, what is the difference? I don't pay tax.
No, it could be that his data is easily collected, being the number one citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, there are a lot of information that we need to get from others. So you are seeing me. You are seeing me here. Yeah. It's very possible for you to take my data because you are seeing me. But the one in Benue, the one in the thief, man, the one in the ulterior places in the country, you need to go them. You need to interface them.
Which one is
so I think that answers the question.
It doesn't. My international passport.
It's not between both of us.
No, I'm trying to tell you that your defense doesn't hold water. My international passport got expired. I don't want to talk about the story of how I got the international passport in the first instance. Got expired. I visited the immigration office. In fact, at a point, I went to have a war with the controller of immigration at those states. But by the time I listened to, I understand that sometimes it is not even at the hands of the ends of affairs at the state. It's a national issue.
All right.
No, I'm coming. You will do your. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters that have done their cards since May last year. Another was around August last year. They are yet to get their
PVC.
No, not their international passport.
Okay, yeah.
International passport as we speak. Now they are telling you now that they came with e-passport. Minister will now go on the door flag off. Will do his passport instantly and get it. You understand? Whereas there are Nigerians who queue up there every day. They'll tell you it's no news that there is no passport, no card, no whatever. Now, whose fault? They will now come tomorrow and say Solomon Idogba's fault that he didn't get his international passport renewed. And you know international passport is another identity card.
It could be as a result of constant interface between these persons that made it possible for theirs to click on.
Well, you see, what interface? We are just saying that they do Obubuye too much.
All right.
Okay, let's come to.
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you.
Let's quickly come to Bishop Austin. Should we now put it on INEC that they have to be blamed for all these irregularities? And since it's a 2-question in one, since it's a continuous voters registration, should there be an extension for these people who didn't get the opportunity to register and those who were delisted from the list?
Looking at the challenge INEC would have if there's an extension.
What I think we should do is that INEC on their own should accept their own fault instead of blame game. When you are at fault, you are not able to provide the service needed for the people you need to render the service for. What you need to do is to make it plain. Because when we begin to hide behind our blame and we begin to twist it, it will not help us to be able to look inward and be able to sort out the issue. If it is beaver that is not functioning well or they needed more, if they are denying that in the public, it will help them to be able to get more of this equipment so that we can be able to tidy it up. INEC on their own should accept their fault, that the major 80% of the fault comes from them. I don't want to exonerate the people that are coming to register also, that some persons like what we call 11th hour issue where they will come on board. But for people who have already started their registration, like what I said earlier, when somebody has started, you cannot say the person is an 11th hour, coming at 11th hour, because the person has started the process. So for you to shut your portals or to hinder them from completing it, that is, you have disallowed them to be able to express themselves and carry out their constitutional right. I think INEC should get more of these beavers and look at the area where there is a flop in their arrangement and be able to attend to it and let there be extension. Now, some persons that can be an extension, we say continuous, even while we are still looking at the election. The people can continue to register. There are people that will register that might not be able to even vote. Maybe their registration come late, but the registration, since it is a continuous something, it should be left open so that people continue to register. Why some persons will become 18 years old on the election day. So those people can continue to register. There should be a portal, there should be an office where people go from time to time and be able to register. It should be a continuous something, because there are children that become 18 years every month. Every day, every hour, every month.
So you have the view that the portal shouldn't close?
It should be open. Now, when you open it like that, you now know that all the people that get their own registration, they sorted it out, they are eligible to vote. Because this is an electronic system. It's not about your face. It's not about your name. It's something that is electronic. If you have not perfected your registration, there is no how you can have your voter's card to be able to vote. So it's not, if they are sincere about it, because I felt that the government has never starved INEC of fund right from 2015. Money has been made available. The transmission of election result, money was made available during Jonathan's time for INEC, and every year they bring budget again, as if all the equipment they bought last year have disappeared into thin air.
Okay.
So, but that's a discussion for another day.
Let's come to Solomon. Solomon Ijobe. Some people are of the opinion that INEC staff are ceremonial staff. They only operate during the elections. And after the election, they just go into thin air. Some of their offices will be taken over by grasses until the next election. Do you agree with that?
To a very large extent.
We agree with that.
To a very large extent. Because we know that INEC have more ad hoc staff than real staff. Okay. Outside the normal director, information, director, this, director, mobilization, and they are always very active during election period. After that, that is why we have problem with this continuous voters registration. INEC offices are usually under lock and key.
INEC offices are usually. Well, I don't think.
I said usually.
When you say usually, you mean it happens. It reoccurs.
Of course.
Repeatedly.
See, let me tell you, no end.
And we do not have the statistics to verify what you just said.
Because you do not want to have. You are a journalist. You should go and do investigative journalism. You will know what I'm saying. That when there's normally INEC offices are across the 18 local governments in Lagos State. Is it not true? They have their offices across the 18 local governments. How functional are those offices? Now,
I think you can say that they are not functioning optimally.
It's the same thing.
You can leave it there than saying that they are usually
it's the same
closed.
thing. The semantics. The office not the always open, and the office not the always open. Now the same thing. Tie goat for a rope. Use rope, tie goat. Now just change of grammar. The truth of the matter is that INEC is not functioning
optimally. Yes.
That's what you want to hear. But it's the same thing that is usually not open. Because the staff, you know, when it comes to election period now, they will employ ad hoc staff, the ones they refer to as youth corpers. And then those who
to bridge in the gap.
Those who help to conduct the rigging of elections in Nigeria.
You don't have to say that.
It is obvious.
What claim?
Okay. I think
wait. Don't cut me. Because this is it. Bishop Igbasa.
But this is an allegation.
It is not an allegation. Who announced this result? Is it not ASU?
Yes.
Is it not ASU?
Yeah.
Who is suffering federal government?
Well, Solomon Ijobe, you've turned the presenter this time.
No, I'm not turned the presenter. I'm saying.
Well, you are a presenter by proxy.
No,
but you are not the moderator.
I'm co-presenter by proxy.
Yes.
The point I'm making is that, you know why I know they took me? All those who have had to announce election results in the negative, either in the name of we were coerced, we were cajoled, we were bamboozled, are professors, VCs. Today, who are the ones suffering in the hands of federal government? Go to court. Is it not the same VCs?
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
So, point I'm making is that
until
we wake up, they are the ones they take as ad hoc staff. They'll continue from there. So, point I'm making is that INEC should gear up. INEC should brace up. They should stop passing blames.
Okay.
You know, Nigerians are this type of people. You know, Igbasa said something just now that there's this 11th hour rush. We know that. INEC should also know that.
No, Igbasa didn't say there's an 11th hour rush.
No, I
said they should not be.
He said that they should not.
They should not be hiding under that
they
one.
They can't say that they are on 11th hour rush because they've started the process.
Those people have started the process.
No, that usually that's what I.
That it would be wrong for them to be tagged as coming out at the 11th hour.
Read their comments. That's where they're hiding.
Of course, yes.
People who came at the 11th hour. When you actually do not do what you needed to do.
Okay, I think you've articulated a point.
I think what is normal, what is proper, is that those who have, you can imagine the number, 10 million. You only validated
about 10.4 million Nigerians.
Let's just approximate.
There are about 3.4 million who finished their registration.
You only allowed 3 million. My brother, the number is too much. Now, the ones you even did on ground,
that's not what they said. They didn't say they only allowed. They said they said what they could finish among the 10.4 million Nigerians was just 3.4. That means the others didn't, as in according to them, that means the others didn't make themselves available for the completion of the registration process. But you've articulated a point. You've articulated a point.
Did you not see situations where people went to registration centers and were almost fighting INEC that they went to organize for
of course,
machines.
I get your point.
And they brought them
We've
and
treated that.
them to another place.
Yes, we've treated that. We even had issues where malfunctioning of machines were featured. Then also incidents of irregularities in the registration. Some say, well, unskilled staff of INEC, and a lot. And some even said alleged bribery. You know,
yes,
which took place. And I think that leaves a lot before the electoral umpire to fix in order to get it rightly done, because we cannot continue in error. We can't progress in that capacity. But I'll come back to you.
Has not told us now. It's where they are going to keep our materials, because it's obvious that the central bank governor is a political person.
I'll come back to you. We have other issues to really talk about. But before we go to the next, let's quickly ask you. We have about 1.1 million Nigerians, as in registrants, as in names of registrants, that INEC deleted, you know, from the list of registration. Are you worried about that?
I am completely worried, because you cannot also rule out the game of INEC now. The game of INEC can be a political game from politicians who felt that the awareness of people coming to the new registrant is going to disturb the Ozigabuyaya style of coming out with an outcome of an election. That how do we go about, okay, this youth now, their eyes are open and they said, no, we want to register, we want our voice to be heard. How do we go? You can't rule it out that from behind the door. That how do we stop these people? Let us put some of these tactics in place. When we wipe away 1 million plus, we have already removed 1 million voters.
If you say that,
the result,
if you say that, that's your imagination, and you seem to suggest that the electoral umpire in INEC, you know, seem to be collaborating with such.
Sir, can I mention to you that I can mention more than 8 states that have election and where they put their cadre that got burnt. 3 weeks to election. Is it Jesus that came down to burn? It was not born when they were not having election. Do you remember Ondo election? Do you remember in Imo? Do you remember in Anam? I can mention to you 8 states that they were completely burnt down. Cadre that's burnt down. So the question is that, have you asked INEC, who have been sentenced to jail over that arson? Do you know that after murder, arson is the next one? That somebody set fire on government facility. Has anybody been sent to jail in these 8 INEC offices that card readers were burnt down? Okay. Then do you ask yourself, what was the result of the election conducted in those states? Who set it on fire? What did the governors of those states did when that place was set on fire? Oh, we gave so-so to INEC to augment what has happened. Now this is, you see, my brother, in my place they said, you tell a woman that delivers, say, put your waist near fire. They know, say, don't be waste. That where it take born that baby, now you won't put near fire. But they will say, go and put your waist near fire so that you can be healed. The issue is that you can't remove INEC. INEC is not independent. It is not independent from the person who appointed whosoever is on top of the game there. You cannot, you want to tell me that the man who held INEC will shake his head to the president if there is an instruction to do something or the other. But the president has given his word that he will not interfere with the electoral process. The question, are you wishing that away? You know, our president used to talk. If you have listened to him, and most times doesn't remember. And when he talks something, well, just leave it. You can't take the word of our president to market to go and buy something. How many times have we been told that I give marching order, this matter must die in 2 weeks? Right. And how many times have it happened? Now, I give you a question. You want to take the words to the market? You want to take those words to university students who saw themselves sitting at home? I have 4 undergraduates who have been seated at home for over 7 months. Now, you want those children not to believe what the president is saying? Okay, in case you're just joining us, it's TMI, and we're looking at the road to 2023, quest for purposeful leadership. It's going to get to the climax where we'll look at section 19, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022. That gives room for INEC to really kickstart the campaign process in earnest, about 150 days to the election proper. You agree with me that it's been reported and it's in public domain
that public campaigns will start in earnest September 28. Political parties, their candidates, are supposed to organize events whereby they will sell their manifestos, they will sell their candidates to their electorate, and whereby we expect that the party candidates will tell us how they're going to build bridges where there are no rivers, how they're going to bring vehicles where there are no roads. I said that to say this. A situation where we have a challenge where we now see our campaigns not being issue-based, but rather it's a place for jamboree where music artists are invited, you know, to titillate the crowd, and where manifestos are not properly sold, and even if they are given, they are just given as handbills and not given opportunity for the electorate to see them articulate their parts at which they will bring those manifestos into fusion. We are at a crossroad where Nigerians seem to be expecting a lot from the political party candidates as it pertains to campaigns coming up in earnest September 28. What do you make of this development as we gradually get to September 28? What's your urge for politicians?
Well, we are not new to the political system in Nigeria. We are having, fortunately and unfortunately, 3 major political parties now, as against the usual 2 major political parties. And it's a nice development in the Nigerian political history. Before it's either between the devil and the deep blue sea. And now it's a total different ballgame. According to Patrick Obayagbon, he said Obi movement is not the type you need to play with. Any politician thinking that Obi movement is just a social media razzmatazz is the dream. And that's the truth. And as you know, there are about 16 political parties that actually fed their presidential candidates. But majorly, we have the Wazobia, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu APC, Atiku Abubakar PDP, and the
Peter Obi
okay. Labour Party. First, I'd like to say that we are expecting so much from the political class in Nigeria. But again, the youth of Nigeria have been able to make it clear that they've been so disappointed in the so far so good, so bad affairs of the Nigerian state as managed by the old chunks. When I say old chunks, I refer to the old order. And that's why you can see that the Obi movement is naturally not the usual political style. It's a shift from the original style. Who is Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Bola Ahmed Tinubu was governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. We know he did so much within his period, to the extent that he fought the then sitting president over creation of
LCDA,
local government development areas, and then he sustained it. Many has it that he was one who drew the map for a new Lagos state, if you like, transformation agenda. Another thing that worked against Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the refusal to return Governor Ambode on the second term. From there, some persons like Solomon Edogbe felt like this man has joined the old order, you know, because for some of us who have been to Lagos before Ambode took over, and then when Ambode became governor, it was not the same thing that happened in Akwa Ibom. When Obo Victor Mata was governor, he was the architect who drew the roadmap to new Akwa Ibom state. By God's grace, I was in Akwa Ibom in 2005 when he was doing the massive work. And then his brother Akpabio took over and built on that architectural work. And that's what Ambode did. But unfortunately, Ambode was cut short. And that also worked against him in Lagos State. Because as you are aware, a lot of persons are still not happy over the truncating of Ambode's second term. And then we move to Atiku Abubakar, who was vice president between 1999 and 2007 to the very dogged Olusegun Obasanjo, aka Baba Iyabo, who did not so spare words in saying that his vice president was corrupt during their last lap of their tenure. Even when he wrote his book, he did not fail to mention it that his vice president was corrupt. And that's the side that worked against Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar has been a retiree of the federal government because he worked in Nigerian Customs Service. Today is regarded as a businessman, as a politician.
Former vice president?
I said he was vice president to Olusegun Obasanjo. And then Peter Obi was also former governor of Anambra State, who was impeached twice due to so many reasons. Some are because they said he was a stingy person. I'm sure Fanda Baka's comment also is also a pointer to that one. And what was the reason they said he's a stingy person? That he doesn't spend government money. And so far so good is one Nigerian that has come out in recent times to say, I dare, ICPC, police, EFCC, and all whatnot, that his records are there. He said, go and verify. We refer to him as Mr. Go and Verify.
So what we are saying here is that, in summary, is that these fine candidates of their parties are party candidates to beat. They are onions.
They are the three major political parties and three major candidates, and by the grace of God, they are all referred to as His Excellencies because they were either at one time governor or vice president, as it were.
And they've proved their capacity to govern.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they have governed, rightly or wrongly. It depends now on the individual persons,
the electorate,
to decide. Some will say that the hands of Bola Ahmed Tinubu was stained with scam, as he was then reported to have had some cases abroad, and that of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, at a point even his president, who he was vice to, came out of public television and said, why would Atiku not go to US now, and all that. We saw all that. So we had all that. And so far so good. Some of us are still looking for whether the other candidates, the Labour Party candidate, also had such dents at any point. And those are some of the facts we are looking at. So
okay. But are you scared that they may not be able to sell their manifestos to the electorate?
Unfortunately, the Nigerian political system is not a manifesto selling political arrangement. It's like I said, it's a razzmatazz thing. They bring DJs, they bring musicians to come, they bring one Dadafarian, one colored hair guy to come and sing to us, and then that's the end. He comes out, he shouts his party slogan.
But are you sure the electorate will take this time? Because it may not be a business as usual.
And that's why I said it is not election as usual. This is election unusual.
Okay.
Now look at it. Does it not bother you that those they used to give money to go and vote for them are the ones spending their monies now for the candidate they prefer? We are seeing it everywhere.
It's a different twist.
Yes, a twist that even young ones, children of 8-10 years, are donating towards a certain political.
Their savings.
You understand? So it means that majority. And if you ask me, the 8 million Nigerians are disenfranchised by INEC that we have just talked about, the 7 million.
You mean 7 million?
7 million.
As reported.
As reported now, 10 minus 3, and then the 1 minus 2 minus 1. If you put them together, it's 8 million. I will not be surprised that 8 million are from the Obi movement. I am not saying it is. I said I will not be surprised, so don't get me wrong. Because only last week here, a few days ago, I saw that in Ebonyi. People came out peacefully to go and do march for a political candidate of their choice. It was reported that the governor ordered the police, which was also an infringement on the fundamental right of the Ebonyi people, to come out. It was a peaceful rally. It was not even a protest as it were. It was a rally in support of their candidate. We saw it on television. They were teared out. Only a day later, the same governor and his supporters came out in support of their candidate. To me, that is how the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people play dirty. And that's why we are talking about roadmap to 2023 elections. Way forward. Way forward is that people should learn that this time around, people are wiser. People have become so politically oriented. They have become so very motivated. And that's why you can see people now. Before now, nobody takes INEC to court. That you disenfranchised me, you didn't allow me. That's why you are seeing.
But don't you think those having those peaceful march and rally, it's a kind of campaign in disguise? Because INEC said,
yes.
INEC actually said that there shouldn't be any form of campaign till 28th of this month. Now, this is going to Bishop Ibasa.
Yes. Your reaction to all of this?
What I want to say is that, like I said, the election that is coming ahead is different from the election we used to have. And that was why I said that the arrangement of how 8 million or thereabout might not be able to be eligible might be a strategy, in quote, may be a strategy. And to me, the question you ask, I put it up, that all these political parties, the issue we have is that our elections of political party are not driven by ideas. There is no ideology-driven political party. My challenge is that if old order are coming out to do road march and they didn't see anything wrong in it, I disagree with Obi's movement, who wants to do something different from the old order. Because if you cannot tell your supporter that wait till September 28th, that is law. I'm not a lawbreaker. I want to set up something different from the old Nigeria. If you cannot stop your supporter, I'm a bishop now, and I don't want my church member to violate something that is a rule. Yeah. So they are going out and I'm clapping for them and I didn't stop them. I'm not a bishop over them. If I'm a bishop over them and I know that this is an INEC order, I will speak it on the altar and mobilize people not to do that.
So it means you finally match.
I expected Peter Obi, since people have been coming out doing march, fitness, this one, that we know, all of us knew that it is a tactical campaign. If you know you have the crowd, you see, I tell people that when they are bringing wife for you, you don't need to stretch neck. Because now you that they bring the wife can't give. So who that they bring wife can't give, not they stretch neck. May I look at it now, I've been a yellow, I've been a black or chocolate. Now you that they bring wife can't give. If you have the crowd and you know the people are with you, you must be able, the people you cannot caution now, not to do road work for you, because this is tactically breaking INEC Electoral Act. Yes. That let us wait till 28. You want to tell me you are not like APC, you are not like PDP, and you cannot tell your people now that anybody that loves me, keep your love till September 28. The election is not coming up next week. The election is not next month. It is going to be February. If you love me, I am not a lawbreaker. So don't introduce something that is not part of my life. I have come to tell the Nigerian people that we are going to go by constitution and by the law of the land, that the law is bigger than every individual. That is my disappointment. Because I expected Peter Obi to have come. We are marching here in Wari. We are marching here in this one. APC are doing it. PDP are doing it. Anybody can do it. But you are coming with a mindset for Nigerians to say, I am a different person. It's not business as usual. Please silent till 28. After 28, you can even sleep on the main road. Okay. You can rebrand a caterpillar. You can rebrand a low bed and carry my picture. I expected him to have come out, and that is my major disappointment. That we are going to roll around the same order. That is telling us that the same order that we are running away from is what you want to practice. Because if you want to support me, it's my name you want to mention. Don't mention my name until September 28. You love me, you believe in me, wait till 28. The election is not next month. They are bringing wife for me, I can't stretch neck. Wait till you want to donate, you want to look at your leg for me, you want to pull your father's house and remove your father's grave and give it to me, wait till 20. That is my major disappointment.
I'm still with you.
Because that is breaking the law. Okay. You are copying the same thing we thought you have come to eradicate.
Okay, now you've had a feel of the military rule, and you've also had a feel of what we are having now as a nation that have independence. Now, what is your assessment on our leadership style currently? I know you want to have a reaction to what he said, but let's take this one first.
The issue is that if you look at the military have done fantastically well than the political government. I tell you, all the refineries today are built by the military. The 3rd Milan Bridge built by the military. Major road built by military. Is it the opening of Okano Express flyover and all the rest of that? Built by military. Come and mention today, compare. We were here in Edo State here when Adamu Iyam came here and raised school fees to 300 naira. When late Tony Ibe Onyerugulem came, we went to meet him. Said, Your Excellency, we want you to drop the school fees. And he came out, he dropped the school fees once. And yes, he went to teacher's house. That was the man that handled teacher's house. He came out and did everything within that short while. Every other thing that happened to that man is a story for another day. But the man wiped away what Adamu Iyam came and said we should pay 300 naira. The man came and wiped it out and said every school fees in Edo State is free. And we saw what he did within the short time. Even when he was in Edo State administrator, we saw what he did there. Because he used to be ADC to late Mike Ahigbe, who was governor of Ondo State then. Then that was Mike Ahigbe that nominated him to come to his own state. The guy did fantastically well. So we cannot compare. Even the stealing we are seeing today, during Babangida time, the minister under him that stole a little amount of money, we know what happened to him. But compare the stealing we are seeing today, the kind of money you see Accountant General move 200 billion, we are talking of 400,000 barrels stolen every day in Nigeria. Nobody have been queried. Nobody have been given any query. Our own crude oil was intercepted in Guinea. Upon all the Nigerian Navy we have, SSS we have, military police we have, everybody, this badge, 400,000 barrels, my brother. It's not what you can burst on pipeline.
Okay, quickly before.
And the question is that who has been arrested? Okay. Who has been called to question? Now, this one did not happen under the military. 400,000. And we are not ashamed to even mention it, that it is happening. There are people who are stealing crude at loading point.
Okay, Bishop,
now the question is that who is stealing the crude? Is it the poor man? Can I go and steal crude now? Or my brother here?
You still have the floor. Bishop Boston. Okay, you still have the floor. You still have the floor. You just made mention that we have a challenge that we are seeking this purposeful leadership to take care of. Now, among the presidential candidates that have been rolled out, he just mentioned names of the top 3. Do you see capacity to perform? Without mentioning names of any candidate. Yeah, do you see capacity to perform in any of these candidates? Now, there is no one of them that does not have capacity to perform. We can rate them by what they did when they were in power. All of them have tasted power. All of them have opportunity to use at one point or the other. That, you see, the question I have, you see, I love all the candidates, and I love them, but I don't love them the same way. And we want to look at competence, capacity. I'm not talking of age. The president of America today is not a small boy. So it is not, when we talk of competence, it does not have to do with age of an individual. So that's why maturity is not by age. What a 70-year-old man will do, you see an 18-year-old child will do better than the person, because life is by maturity, and maturity is of the mind. My question is that if we are going to vote, let's look at them. All of them have stayed for 8 years in power. Shall you see that these 3 persons, they have stayed 8 years in power. All the 3 major persons. Bola Tinubu was 8 years as governor. Obi was 8 years as governor. Vice President was 8 years. So it is 8. Let us now look at what they did. What they did to their environment. That is where they rule. Compare where they rule. Compare where this one ruled. Look at what this man did. What was his effect? So if I have a garden and I didn't plant orchard, I have opportunity to plant orchard. I now tell somebody, say, this garden is too small. Well, if not give me the whole Unibe, now I go feed plant where. Somebody that does not plant when he has a garden near his house, want to tell you that when they give him the whole Uniben complex, he's going to turn it to become orchard garden. The question you ask him is that small garden near your house, what did you do? Let us go back to everywhere they rule and let us see the effect of what they did. Let us come. You see this campaign that is coming by 28 is going to be very terrible. Wednesday. It's going to be terrible because people are not going to build it on issue. They are going to be talking about personality. But my question is that they have had 8 years to rule. Now let us ask them, what did they do? Let us go and look at the ground where they operate. Let us forget about English. Let us forget about grammar. Let us forget about somebody using sweet story. Oga, you have a garden near your house.
what did you do to that garden? Now, do we give you Unibank complex now before we know you are a farmer? You must start the farm. They say charity begins at home. So let us look at what they did when they were in power. Somebody that cannot do something much when he was a state governor or when he was a vice president, is it when the person sit down that he will start going to perform magic? So the question is that, what did you do? When the Bible says when you are faithful in little thing, you will be made faithful in a bigger thing. Okay. What you cannot do when you are in your own house, in your own state, is it when you now rule a bigger place that you want to perform the magic? Let us go to competence, let us go to antecedent, let us go to program, let us go to what you do after you left office. Okay. Can we go back and see your track mark?
Thank you very
there?
Much. Thank you very much, Bishop. Now,
wonderful.
Solomon, now, is there any tendency for the electorate to choose the wrong candidate from his submission?
Not the electorate. For the INEC to present the wrong.
No. I just want to get to that.
Yeah, I'm saying the same. I'm saying the same thing.
Is there any tendency for the electorate to choose the wrong candidate?
No, there's no tendency for the electorate as it stands to choose the wrong candidate. They will choose the right candidate. Will INEC announce it as it were?
So are you saying the INEC will not do their work?
It's the issue.
That is the issue.
It's the basic issue. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Okay, what's your fear about INEC not being able to carry the intention of the electorate?
The fear started.
Yoruba will say, sorry, with all due respect to the Yoruba.
It has started.
They will tell you, the 8,000 disenfranchised vote is a starting point.
It's 8 million. 8
million disenfranchised.
It's a starting point.
It's a starting point. Now, when they at a point, INEC was telling us
also the 1 million. The 1 million first before the 1 million.
They cannot.
You mean the deletion of the registrants?
You said so. Is you that said so?
No. It's reported.
That's why we are saying. You are saying the same thing. That they at a point they told us that they cannot transmit election results. When they had bombardment, they said no, they did it. That's not what they said. They said they are working towards perfecting it. So we are beginning to hear. Now, a lot of things are going to play. So my fear is not the registrant, nor the candidate as it were, nor even the electorate. Like I said, this is going to be an election unusual.
Okay, because so, I don't want you to take it away from the fact that you are not an optimist.
Yes, I'm an optimist.
Yes, because if you say that your fear is that it could be changed, the game could be changed in favor of another party by the electoral umpire, it then means that you want to settle for the defeatist perspective.
No, we are stayed in this country where we see inconclusive election in a concluded election. That's my fear.
So what should the electorate do differently not to make this happen?
They should monitor their votes. They should go to the polling units, cast their vote, because by the new arrangement, by the new electoral law, as you are casting your vote as it's been announced, it's transmitted online. Everybody.
So the INEC review portal will still see it?
Yes.
So the result, the figures that displayed in the polling unit should feature in the review portal to make comparisons?
Let all of us be unofficial INEC. In our various political units.
That was what we did here in Edo State.
Yes, let all of us
came up to say we cannot use our phone. And we tell them that you are not the one that bought the phone.
Let our individual phones be INEC portals.
Yes. Say you cannot control our phone.
Once they declare the results, snap it and let your phone become the INEC secondary server.
Okay, but among those that will come and vote, there's this much monetizing of politics in politics. Among those that will come and vote, a lot of persons could possibly vote in a candidate because of what they got. So how do you tackle that?
It's no new thing. I don't want to start saying too many things, but I'm saying that we are not unmindful of vote buying. We are not unmindful. Was there no vote buying in Osun State? Was there no vote buying in Ekiti State?
Ekiti was pronounced. Two pronounced.
Yeah,
the first one, the second one. Ekiti, in fact, was the testing ground of vote buying in this country. That was the first place where
it is not new
started.
But quickly,
where security operative are the one paying for those who are.
Igbasa says something that it was like a passing. I was opportune to attend a meeting where major stakeholders, including security agencies that has to do with the 2023 election, were in attendance and issues were discussed. And I've made my point very clear. There cannot be free and fair election when the Independent Electoral Commission is not independent.
I've said it here.
I'm coming. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
The chairman of INEC is not appointed by National Assembly with diverse opinion and diverse minds. He's appointed by the president. The IGP is not appointed by the National Assembly. He's appointed by the president. And the major actors in election process are INEC and the police.
Yeah, those are the two.
And their chain of command comes from presidency.
It is. And the appointment of the two persons are against the law.
You know,
because
now,
the INEC Act says you cannot appoint somebody from the geopolitical zone where you came from. And also the present IG today supposed to have retired. The new law that National Assembly made is for somebody that still have up to 4 years as IG. So you cannot rule out. You know, that was what I said.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Now the point.
We'll come back to you. Let's Solomon Jobe finish on this, and this is your final words on this segment.
Okay, on this segment. On a very serious note, I think that we have look at it. Remunerations of election officers is another major point. The so-called ad hoc staff appointed by INEC, and then the regular staff, as it were. Philip, you cannot be, or Dan, you cannot be an umpire that you are not sure of your remuneration at the end of the month. I'll give you an example.
Do that fast.
When police went to elections, in the first state they went to, they had not received, some of them had not received their allowances, election allowance. Before the second election,
they were posted to go.
They were
for the duties they were posted to do.
For the second one. And now, they went there, they had not received their remuneration for the first one. No. They didn't take money because they wanted to act, for instance. They wanted to act within the law. And now they're in the second election. The one where they take go the first one never come. And somebody is offering them huge sum. You think they won't take? This is part of the problem.
Okay.
So if the Nigerian government is able to tackle very clearly the issue of remunerations of security agencies, whether I call it police, army, civil defense, immigration, as it concerns election duty, as and when due, should not be later than the very day of the election. Okay. And then the ad hoc staff. You are seeing where youth corps members and all other ad hoc staff employed during elections.
Yes,
months after elections, they are still looking for the alawi that didn't come.
They even go for protest.
And it will go a long way to have a successful, non-violent, peaceful, credible election in Nigeria.
Thank you for your submission.
The issue of the candidate, because I couldn't talk on. You know, Basa raised a whole lot of issues. But unfortunately, you are rushing me out.
That's because we are running out of time.
And that's the same way the Nigerian...
That doesn't make me a Russian anyway.
No, that's the same way the Nigerian government will rush us through things. And INEC will make and begin to give us blame for their errors. The fact remains that the candidate that will emerge. The fears remain that the electoral umpire should be up and doing, and should not shift the goalpost and start doing blame game when the results are supposed to be announced.
Thank you. Your final words,
I encourage that the INEC should bear their name, and they should allow their name to reflect, because the awareness now is very high. And I know that INEC and every other person are aware that the awareness of even the younger generation is very, very, the kind of awareness and the participation is going to be much. But I encourage electorate that please, as we are going to this voting, let political party campaign be issue-based, because we have seen how people splash water on themselves, talk about personality, and not talking about how to fix Nigeria, which is the main important issue. And I want to also say that the fourth estate of democracy, which is the press, has been pressed, and they are depressed and oppressed. We should allow the press not to be pressed, so that they will be able to hold political party and individual to whatever promise they have made. Because we see that even when we make some statement here, they are going to say it is the opinion of Igbasan. It's not the opinion. These ones were not there before.
So that they are not slammed.
Yeah. So it's not democracy at all, that we should be able to express ourselves by the Constitution. So I beseech the electorate, no dull moment. Let us go by competence. Let us go by antecedent, and let the press not be pressed, so that the press can be able to engage the people that want to lead us, engage them. They need to be engaged on how they're going to fix Nigeria, and we must take them by their words. Because we can remember in 2014, we remember in 2019, all the promises made today, most of them are not, the people that made it are denying it. Because if the journalist, the fourth estate, is able to hold the leaders to what they promised us then, I think we will not be where we are now, to hold them to account. And I think it is very important that the fourth estate should wake up, and they should be unbiased, because you are also an umpire as far as the election is concerned, to enlighten the public and to also engage those who want to rule over us, to tell them, to be bold enough to do some investigative journalism, and tell them, hold them to their words, so that we can be able to say this is the direction we want to go. And I encourage all the aspirants, we want a new Nigeria, not the old order. I give you an example. Judiciary, we didn't mention judiciary. The Chief Justice of Nigeria today, CJN, earn less than 270,000.
Thank you.
So those are people that they have not constituted tribunal now. Court of Appeal made a complaint that up to now money has not been made available to constitute them. So these are also part of what will give us a standard election, because after election we are returning back to judiciary.
Thank you, Bishop Austin Igbasan, and I will disappoint you by not saying that rhetoric of your opinion is really yours and not that of the station. Big thanks for taking our time to be part of this discussion, and of course, big thanks to you, Solomon Idiogbe, for taking our time.
Thank you so much.
There's much we can take, but don't forget, you have to exercise your right, ensure that your PVC counts by coming out on that day of election. Well, next week, Wednesday, happens to be the date for the public campaigns to commence, and it's up to you to look at the candidates of parties and do the needful to choose wisely. We do this same time next week, but don't forget, tomorrow is another day for a TMI with Evans Onohuge and crew. I'm Philip Omo Bukman. I'm from Daniels.
Have a beautiful day ahead. Bye
Goodbye.
for now.